Hello, I'm Brent Gardner, and this is the NRA-ILA Grassroots News Minute for Friday, May 8th. On April 30th, Senators Mike Crapo and Patrick Leahy have introduced Senate Bill 941, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives Reform and Firearms Modernization Act. Senator Leahy is chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, to which S-941 has been referred. S-941 represents the first time such BATFE reform legislation has been introduced in the Senate. However, the House passed similar legislation in the 109th Congress by a 277 to 131 vote. A majority of the House 244 congressmen then co-sponsored a similar bill in the 110th Congress. This bipartisan reform legislation is the culmination of efforts to address BATFE abuses and problems that were highlighted in several congressional oversight hearings in 2006. S-941 represents NRA-ILA's latest effort to pass legislation that will make it easier for lawful gun owners and dealers to comply with federal law and regulations while ensuring that those who break the law are punished accordingly. This bipartisan bill also serves as a vital step toward modernizing and improving BATFE's overall operations. The bill would roll back unnecessary restrictions, correct errors, and codify long-standing congressional policies in the firearms arena. And it is also a vital step needed to modernize and improve BATFE operations. The House companion to S-941 will be introduced soon. So for now, please be sure to contact your 2 U.S. senators and ask them to co-sponsor and support S-941. You can call your U.S. senators at 202-224-3121. In an opinion piece published in the New York Times on April 27th, former President Jimmy Carter, who did his best to undermine the Second Amendment when he was in the White House, asked what happened to the ban on assault weapons. The answer is the same thing that happened to Jimmy Carter. After one of the most unsuccessful presidencies in U.S. history, Mr. Carter couldn't get enough votes to be reelected. Similarly, once Congress realized that gun control supporters had exaggerated the role of assault weapons in crime, they couldn't get the votes necessary to extend the ban past its 10-year sunset date. There was no particular reason to think that Mr. Carter would fail as president before he took office. But there was every reason to think that a gun ban would fail to reduce crime. Before the ban was imposed, NRA repeatedly pointed out that the much maligned semi-automatics were used in only a very small percentage of crime. After the ban was in effect for a few years, a study mandated by Congress reached the same conclusion, setting the stage for the ban's demise. NRA also pointed out that the thing that caused guns to be defined as assault weapon, such as a flash suppressor and adjustable length stock, were not essential to the gun's basic operation. One anti-gun group, the Violence Policy Center, eventually conceded on this point, but other gun control supporters, Carter apparently among them, still stuck to their original erroneous assumption. Mr. Carter said he supports the right to firearms for hunting, and on that point, we'll take him at his word. However, as the Supreme Court reiterated in District of Columbia v. Heller last year, the Second Amendment protects the right to keep and bear arms, primarily for defensive purposes. Most outrageously in this piece, Mr. Carter, or whoever ghost wrote his piece, claimed that the only reason anyone would want an assault weapon would be to murder police officers, school children, and co-workers. The millions of good Americans who own these guns deserve no such insult, and frankly, it's beneath the degree of dignity we'd expect from a former president. In any event, the insult is without merit. That's proved by the fact that while the number of Americans who own so-called assault weapons has risen to an all-time high, the nation's murder rate has decreased to a 43-year low. Contrary to the catchy propaganda line about the guns being on the streets, they are more commonly found in the homes of honest citizens throughout our country. For more information on these stories and up-to-date legislative information, please visit www.nraila.org.